In this life, I've experienced both deep hardships and moments of joy. But compared to immense physical and emotional pain I've endured in the past, the heartaches I experienced later in life felt almost insignificant. However, at the end of last year, I felt like my heart was about to break. It was the first true setback I had ever felt since beginning my journey as a creator. Many of you may already know that before I became a full-time creator, I worked at the company. When I was working, the most important thing to me was being of service to others, whether that meant customers using our services, fellow employees, or the company's president. Living to help others was the only reason I felt I existed, and I believed I had no other purpose in life. That belief has not changed even now. The reason I felt the company is difficult to explain in detail, but there was a huge disconnect between my mindset and that of the company, especially with my direct supervisor. I couldn't respect him as a person. Also, due to the pandemic, I began to lose sight of who I was really working for, and I struggled to find meaning in what I was doing. That was a major reason as well. In some ways, that period may have been the first real failure I experienced in life. It might not sound very humble to say this, but I studied intensely for many years. During my university years, when most people were busy with club activities, parties, travel, or spending time with friends, I attended prep school and studied at a second institution to become a certified public accountant. I never hated studying. In fact, I loved learning. The moment I understood something new would stimulate my intellectual curiosity, and solving difficult problems gave me a deep sense of satisfaction. But the more I studied, the more I would forget. I had to read the same textbooks over and over again just to retain what I learned. That repetition became my norm, and I never found it strange. Looking back now, though perhaps my situation back then was not entirely healthy, I studied more than 10 hours a day, often skipping meals. Mentally and physically, I felt like I was floating, detached from everything. That's how much time and energy I devoted to studying every single day. Some people might think that all of that was a waste of time, but I believe those experiences were necessary for me. Through them, I gained an appreciation for how hard studying can be, the joy of learning, a wide range of knowledge, and a strong sense of discipline. I truly believe that in life, no time spent in the past is ever wasted. Even if you spend time playing games, I believe there is still something to learn from it. When I was a child, I used to play a game called Suikoden over and over again. That game, I believe it taught me the value of kindness. Of course, it wasn't just a game. Many of my past experiences taught me how important it is to be kind. The reason I wanted to become a creator started with watching the video of Peter McKinnon, a great photographer. That was the beginning of my journey. The more I admired him and wanted to be like him, the more I realized how far apart we were. Even now, I feel like the size difference between us is like ours and an ant. In fact, maybe I'm even smaller than an ant. But thanks to him, I'm now here speaking to all of you as a creator, and that still feels like a miracle to me. After becoming a creator, I didn't have much money, but I was happy. I was always broke, not knowing when I might have to stop my work. Even so, I kept going. Slowly, I started to receive more jobs and my audience grew. Honestly, my YouTube channel is still not that popular. My viewers are still few in number, but to everyone who watches my videos and leaves comments, I am truly, deeply grateful. When I first became a creator, I had a dark expression and couldn't smile. Even though I enjoyed creating, I hated my own smile, so I couldn't show it. But little by little, I began to smile again. Now I'm starting to like my own smile. Going back to the end of last year, what I experienced was a painful farewell with someone important to me. It was so painful that I cried endlessly and lost all hope. to the point where living itself felt difficult. I felt behind on my work and couldn't even eat. Still, I felt I had to take control of myself. I replied to people who sent me messages on Instagram. I made time to meet friends. I took steps to get my drone license. And I started learning editing software, doing whatever I could to change the version of myself in that moment. I took a lot of action, but what ultimately saved me was the connection I had with people. I received kind words from my viewer and they brought warmth back to my frozen heart. Spending time with my friend Alex and creating content together was also a big part of my recovery. Since I was a child, I've always longed for connection with others. And also, I believe it is only through human connection that I can heal my wounds. In gratitude to everyone, I asked myself what I could do. The answer I arrived at was to keep creating, to continue this work, and to move forward while being grateful to those who support me. I love nature. When I take photos of nature and animals, I feel thrill in my heart. Although I like people, I prefer photographing wild animals and insects in nature more than people. Sometimes people joke that I'm like an old photographer, but I don't mind at all. Because I believe that wild creatures in nature are perfect as subjects. They're complete in their natural form. And that's why I love photographing them. My passion is always burning brightly, but at the same time, my wallet and bank account are also burning. Many people may not realize it, but there are many types of creators, especially for creators like me, photographers and videographers. It can be incredibly expensive. I have to purchase the latest equipment to meet the demands of clients. As a satisfied Sony photographer, I also need to buy the latest Sony cameras and lenses to fully understand and represent their products. However, Sony's cameras and lenses consume all of the income I receive from my clients. Sony is a terrifying company. In fact, it's not just Sony. There are so many companies whose gear I need to buy. My passion continues to drive me, but it also continues to financially strain me. Even so, I find joy in the struggle. That's why I know this is the path I truly love. Recovering from despair and hardships is, in truth, quite simple. You take action. When people are overwhelmed by despair, they tend to freeze. As a result, they stay trapped in pain, unable to move forward. Even when I was in pain, feeling weak, I still believed I had to keep moving forward. Thanks to the support of many people, I was able to recover. But if I hadn't chosen to take that step forward myself, I don't think the award would have ever reached me. There are many kinds of despair and pain. Still, as long as we don't give up on living and keep taking action, no matter how small, I believe that is the only way to change our situation. Currently, as a creator, I collaborate with many international companies. I've been fortunate to introduce many different products and I'm genuinely happy about that. That's because camera changed my life. The world I see through the lens has expanded my world more than I could have imagined. That's why I love cameras and I believe that something that changed my life might also have a positive impact on yours. A camera can preserve your memories. If I can introduce you to tools that help you in your daily life, then maybe those little moments of joy will multiply. So I'm truly grateful to be able to collaborate with various companies as a creator. Recently, I became a brand ambassador for PGY Tech, a company that makes camera bags and accessories. I deeply appreciated their passion and choose to partner with them. Now their camera bags travel with me on my journey, carrying my most valuable equipment. These relationships with companies like PGY Tech, DJI, Insta360, and Holy Land are incredibly meaningful to me. I'm deeply thankful for the strong connection I built with them. And to my audience, you, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Even now, I sometimes feel anxious about the future or lonely, but I try to manage my emotions and keep smiling so that I don't regret the decision that brought me here today. There are times when we all feel like our hearts might break. I'm one of those people too. And in those moments, I believe it's okay to lean on someone. There will be times when I need your help too. Just a few kind words can warm a cold heart and become the strength we need to move forward. So I will keep sharing my thoughts, my feeling, and my life so that you can move forward too. Thank you for watching this video. I'll keep walking forward and I hope you'll keep walking with me. It would mean the world to me if you subscribe to my channel and continue watching my videos. See you in the next one.